Hey guys, hi everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hello, hi everyone. Good morning. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible? Hello, good morning, Krish. Walaikum salam, Doha. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Good morning, Ankit. Good morning. Good morning. So we'll just start in 1 or 2 minutes. Let me set up the environment. And we are currently discussing a project in our backend in which we are currently discussing our role-based access control way of creating the backend. Good morning, Pradnya. Good morning, Said. So let me start opening and setting up the environment for our today's session. Today's session will be a short session. It won't be 2 hour session, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hour session, not more than that. And we will try our best to complete project in today's session only, because from tomorrow there will be a new instructor. There will be a new not new course, but an extension to the same course, but a new way of looking at the web application. That's something that will be discussed from tomorrow's session actually. And I guess in our yesterday's session we have discussed few of the very important things related to our MERN stack, related to our role-based access control design. And that is our, when we say fetch user roles and permissions, what do we actually mean? Okay, we meant that whenever any user tries to log in, whatever roles are associated with that particular user, fetch me those. Whatever permissions are associated with this user, fetch me those. That's what it means. And I think we have already discussed, we have debugged it yesterday in the yesterday session properly. Yesterday we faced some issues, right? And we saw that it was not working how we wanted it to work, and we tried to debug it as well, and we properly ended up properly debugging it. So allow me a second. Let me try to open my MongoDB quickly as well, and then we will open our Postman to quickly see things again, and then we'll start our today's session. Right? I can see 5 students here, 6 students here, not more than that, which is absolutely okay. Who cares? And let me try to connect to this. Allow me a second, and let me try to open my YouTube, in which I have all the roles and everything is set. Let me open quickly my Postman so that we can test things quickly, and then we can move forward. So Postman is here. Okay. So, in the yesterday's session, we also did one very important thing apart from fetching roles and permissions. We also upgraded the user's role. We created a route. Whenever you call and make a request to this route using a post method, and you pass a header authorization of that particular user, you pass its token, it will upgrade its role, right? Now, when we talk about this login, we will pass our credentials over there. And as soon as let me try to trigger my server quickly over here. So if I simply go and write npm run dev, it should simply trigger my server. There's one problem. What's that? Okay, ignore it. So let me try to quickly wait. So let's wait. Sir, can you change the time of live classes? Tomorrow, unfortunately, that's not in my hands, right? Because it's a new instructor. If it would have been mine, I myself am not available in the evenings because of Ramzan. And so that's why a new instructor, and he's going to take classes. You can watch recording later on, Said. So it's connected to the database as well. And now let's go here and let's try to send it. So if I send it, we can clearly see that we are able to see the roles of a particular user who has tried to log in. We can clearly see, we can also see the permissions of a particular user, whether it is like and download, right? This is what we discussed in the yesterday's session. See, I have a simple question over here. Guys, can we say that until now, we have created a role-based access control design? Can we say that, yes or no? What do you think? Can we say we have created a role-based access control design? Yes or no? What do you think? Ankit says yes. Anyone else? Yes. Doha says yes. Anyone else? See, if you ask me, I would say partially, right? See, we have not created role-based access control design until now, yet at least, right? I will tell you why. Because see, the point is, the design which I have implemented in the backend, whatever I have done here in this application, I simply defined rules. Okay, sir, that's what role-based access control design means. Okay. I've simply told you to fetch roles and permissions. Okay. But when we talk about role-based access control design, it means whether you are, based on your role, be able to perform this action and that action or not. Have I performed like action? Have I performed download action? Of course not. So we need to understand that in this particular application, once I will perform a like, depending on role, if it allows me, it is role-based access control design. Once I perform what is called a download, if it has the role and action for that, and if it allows me, that is role-based access control design. We have just designed, created roles. We have not associated actions, although we have associated, but not in my application. I have not defined any request on which I will perform like, on which I will perform what is called a post. That's why what I will do is I will simply go here in the application. I will simply talk about my song route, because eventually whenever we talk about our role-based access control design, it's not just about fetching things. It's not just about defining rules. No, it's actually about performing those actions and whether you are able to perform such actions or not. It's about that. So what I will do is I will simply go inside the song, and in this song I will write few of the routes. First of all, do you remember yesterday we created a dummy song, right? We have a model in which there are some dummy songs. If I remember correctly, there's a Chuck the India song, something like that, right? So I will simply say router dot get. Let me get all the songs. However, songs we have in this particular router, get me. In this particular design, get me all those. Then async over here like this. I will simply have request comma response. Request comma response like this. And then over here like this, like this, like this, like this. What am I going to do? I'm simply going to implement try catch block over here, because you should write your code in try catch. If you don't want, it's completely okay, but you should do that. Try what? I want to read all my songs. Give me all the songs that I have in the application. So I will simply say constant my songs is equals to, please await over there on the songs model. So on the songs model, not like this. Let me go and let me check the exact route. So it is index.js. Have I exported song? It's song, not song. Let me create it capital S. Song, right? And it is song. Perfect. In this particular case, I will simply go in my song route and let me try to say Control Z and let me try to remove this song. And it will be imported from models over there / index.js. Although it's already imported, you don't have to write index.js, it will still work. So song dot, since I want to find all of the songs over there, will I use find one method or find? I will use simply find method. Find, simply return me all. So I put curly brace there. Return me all the songs that we have. Now there are two possibilities: either songs will be there or not, and I'm pretty much sure songs are there because I have set it. So instead of wasting time in that, I will simply say response.states over there is equals to okay, and then in the response over there send me a JSON, where in that particular JSON I will simply send data, and data will be my songs, like this. Done. So whenever you make a request on this particular route, it will simply return songs in front of data. And in a similar way, if I talk about my catch method, in this case, it will be simply 400, and the data will be, in this particular case, it will be simply what? It will be simply server error, let's suppose, or message server error, like this. If I now go to my endpoint here and let's try to create a new route, in this particular case, I will simply copy this, right? And what is the route in order to access the slash? We have to figure out that. So let me go here. This is on /router, which means on the server it will be on /API, then /song. So it is /API /song. So let me simply go to /API /song. If I make a request on this, do you think I will be able to find my songs? If I make a post request on this, although it's a get request, so if I make a get request, will I be able to find songs? It says access denied. So what am I missing? What am I missing, guys? Quickly tell me, what am I missing? Anyone? It says access denied. So I want to get all these songs. It says access denied. So what do I need to do? See, according to the design, backend design, these two routes over there have a middleware called as authentication. So unless and until you don't, this authentication middleware is not executed, we won't be able to see these two routes properly work. So this is a middleware. This will call next only if whatever it's intended to do, it will do that. So we need to provide a middleware over the authorization middleware. For that, we need to perform a login. So let me perform a login quickly. In this particular case, I will get a token. So I got a token here, and let me simply copy this token. Right, so let me copy this token. Let me go to songs. In this case, I will go to auth headers. I will add a header called as authorization, and not proxy authorization, but authorization over here. And in this particular case, the value will be something like this. If I send it over there, now you can clearly see it gives me all these songs, and I know there's only one song, so I can see properly a song. Perfectly fine. So we got all these songs. Now it's actually about understanding what role-based access control design means. Now whatever I will do now, this will determine whether it's role-based access control design or not. This thing. I will go to my song route over here, and in this particular case, I will simply go and let me try to drag a little bit down. And over here, what I will do is I will simply say a router. On this, please implement a post. Post what? Perform a post like. Good morning, Arka. Good morning. Post perform a like. In this particular case, I would simply want you to execute a particular logic on async request comma response. Request comma response like this, like this, like this. Where I would simply want to implement again try catch maybe or without try catch. And in the response over there, please make the status over here as 200 or 204 means no content, or 200, let's make 200. And then in the response, simply send JSON, where you will simply send my data, and that data will be song like this. So I am creating a route over there. In this particular case, you can clearly see whenever anyone will make a request like on this particular router of song, it is going to return me a response which will be 200. And in that particular case, their JSON response will be simply data song like it. Now, I have a simple question over there. Do you think right now, depending on what this particular route is, this route that you can see in front of you, do you think that this is properly role-based over here? Or is it normal, like it will work every single time? Whenever you make a like, it will work. What do you think? Is there a role associated with this particular response? Because eventually we want to like, we want a proper response. If there is this response, it means we are able to like. That's what we want, right? Song like it. Now in front end, whatever you want to do with this, that it's completely up to you. You want to increment it by 1, you want to do anything, it's completely up to you. But the point here is, if anyone makes a request to like, this is the response that we want to get. And at this point of time, if I make a request over here to like, let's simply go and let me try to make a request to this, Control A, Control C, and I will simply go say Control V, and let me simply say /like. And I will go and make a post request. Let me get the authorization header of the user who is logged in. So let me put the header as authorization. Sorry, here, let me put a header called as authorization, and let me remove this param. I don't have param authorization. And in this particular case, I will paste it. As soon as I click on send, you can clearly see it gives me song like it. But is this how it should work? What do you think? Yes or no? Is this how it should work, guys? Give me a yes or no quickly in the chat. Do you think this is how it's going to work? That I will perform a like and it will give me the like? The answer is no. Although I know by default, every single user should be able to perform a like, but that's not how it works. Like we have to see whether there is like permission or not. Although I know for each user there is like, I know that. But still, I have to implement some mechanism over there with which we will be able to find whether this user that I have, can this user like song? The current user, can user like song? So I will simply go here and let me define something in between. Now, whenever you define a route and you put in between something, and then you tell it, once it works, then call the next. What is this in between called? This particular function that we put in between, it's called, what's it called, guys? Quickly, when we put something in between a function, what's it called? It's called a middleware. So I will simply go and simply say, let me simply define a middleware which is authorize.js, in which I will define two middlewares. Can user like this song? Can user download this song? Because that's what we want to do. So I will simply say export over there one function. So constant can user like song. It's a function, simple function, which is going to be like this, because we have to find its request comma response. It's a middleware. Whenever we talk about middleware, always remember middleware has access to three things: request, response, and my next. Done. So request, response, next, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. In a similar way, I will simply go and perform another function. So can constant export constant, can my user download song? If you are able to understand one thing, you will be able to understand automatically other thing as well. Now, before I start writing my logic, I have a simple question to all of you. Tell me quickly, in this particular case, how will I find whether this user can like the song or not? What is the approach over here? Quickly tell me. What do we need to do so that I will be able to make sure that with this function we'll be able to find and determine whether user can like song or not. With this particular function middleware, we'll be able to determine whether user can download a song or not. And let me even go in the song route over there. In this case, I will simply say tell it to call my can user like song. Now, only if this calls the next, then only this will be executed. And we want to write some permission logic over here with the help of which we'll be able to determine whether this user can like the song or not. If user is logged in, we check permission for the like song. Very good. User is logged in because we are passing the token, right? User is logged in. That's one thing. Anyone else? Anyone else? Come on. Okay, tell me one thing. How can we find that user has the like permission? How can we find whether user has the like permission? Because checking user have premium or not. Like is general, standard. It's not premium side. Like is standard. Premium is download, right? Logic is very simple, straightforward logic. Trust me, you have done this in our previous session. Authenticity is already there because we have done pass the token Amanjot. Have not passed token, token is there. But there's one very important thing which we have. Since I know according to that particular token, whenever these two routes will be called, we will have our user if user is logged in. We will have our user. Yes or no? Like if I pass the token, I know who the request.user.id is, which means I am getting whenever in this particular function over there, if I talk about this particular function, I know inside request who the user is. Do I know that? Give me yes or no. Do I know that inside request who the user is? Do I know its ID? Come on, give me a confirmation. Come on, guys. Do we know who the user is? Because there's a middleware already called. Authentication middleware is already called in between. So if I pass the correct token, do I know who the user is? Roshan says no. Anyone else? The answer is, of course, yes. Of course, yes. We know the user. We are simply going here and calling this. I have passed the token. It will simply make sure request.user is there. So for this particular authorize, I know for this function, since I am calling it inside the song route, since I am calling it inside this route, and I know this route will be called only once this authentication middleware is done. So it will extract token, and I know for this song route over there who the user is. So I know inside the authorizer who the user is, which means I know user's ID. And based on user's ID, can we find whether it has like permission or not? Have we not done that yesterday? Of course I have. So this is how I will implement a little bit different approach this time. I know according to this, I hope this is visible, like you are able to see this, user rules. I know what are the user ID. What is the user ID for this middleware can user like the song? I know who the user ID, what the user ID is. So it can be either this or it can be either this. There are only two possibilities because there are two users only. So either CC5 or 89493, these two users. From here, I will get role IDs. I will get two role IDs because for right now, it is premium as well as standard. So I will get two role IDs. From those two role IDs, I will simply go to role permission. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm simply going to check whether there is any role ID of the user who is logged in, whose permission ID is matching with the permission of like. So we will implement if condition. If there is this ID over there with respect to that role ID inside this particular role permission, we know that we have our like song. Do we agree? Do we agree? Yes or no? Do we agree? So it means that we need to find the permission ID of like first of all. So we will find permission ID of like. We will find permission ID of like. So let's do that. So let me simply go inside this particular case. I will simply say constant. Give me the permission because I know what permission I am looking at. So permission is equals to await. Await what? Await on my permissions. So on my permission over there like this /index.js, So slash index.js, please go and find. What am I going to find? I am simply going to find one because there's only one action related to like. So let me use find one. Find one. Which one? Where the subject over here is equals to song. And then I have simply action over here is equals to, and what is the action? The action over here is equals to like. So can we say when we do something like this permission will simply be an object. It will be nothing but a document because it's find one. It's not find. So it will be a document. And can we say at this point of time, it will be nothing but this particular object with ID key, action key, subject key. So we got permission ID of like inside this particular variable. Give me yes or no. Give me yes or no. Quickly. Done? Very good. After this, I will find who the current user is and what are its roles. And we have done that yesterday. So I will simply say constant, my user roles. So let me simply go say constant user roles is equals to await over there inside my user role. Inside my user role. Control X, and let me simply go and call my user roles. So inside my user roles over there, please find. Now, when we say user roles, is it find or find one? User roles, we have to implement find. The reason is because for the same user, there can be multiple rules. So we have to implement find method over there. Find based on what? Based on the user ID. And what is that user ID? It is request.user._ID. So can we say at this point of time, whosoever user is based on the request.user.id, we have found its ID, we have found its roles. So it means it will be an array of objects which will contain all the roles for the current user who is logged in. Now it can be one only if it is new user, if it can be both if we have done the upgrade. But it can be array. It is going to be an array of objects. I hope that makes complete sense. Now after this, we found user roles. We found our permission ID, permission related to like as well. Now what I will do is I will simply find based on the user roles, extract its role ID. With that role ID, find me the permissions and role permissions. That's what we will do in the yesterday's session as well. See, this is what I will do. At this point of time, this is the document that I have. This is the document in one variable. On the other hand, since Adfar is logged in, I have these two objects over there in one. I will extract role ID from here, which is 8A2. I will extract role ID from here, which is 8A3. And then I will simply do a request on role permissions with respect to this role ID. With respect to this role ID, find me the permissions. So I will get this array of objects. So my addends, when have I launched the addends? I have only shared the attendance only once. So I'm not sure why you are checking your addends from Govin, but don't worry. I know who is active. I have a list. Don't worry, you are there. You are active. So we have our, based on the role IDs, we have to find permissions. And we have done that yesterday as well already. So let me simply go. I will simply say constant. The role permissions over here, permission is equals to, I will simply go say await. And await what? Await on my role permission model. Please implement a find and find me all those where the ID of role is equals to, role ID is equals to. And yesterday we discussed about one of the very important operators. What is that operator, guys, called? It's called a $in. $in. And I know in front of $in, we have to pass an array, which means either this or that. If I can simply say 1,2. What does this mean, guys? Can anyone write a sentence like what this means? I want to understand your understanding of $in. If I write $in array of 1,2, what does it mean? Write a sentence and explain what it is. Explain what this means. This line of code from 14 to 16. I want everyone to write. Nandi, Roshan, Saeed, Doha, Ankit, Pradnia, Govind. Write everyone. And if I have missed anyone, please write. What does it mean? I need a complete sentence. No 1 and 2. It's not 1 and 2. Complete sentence. For example, let me tell you what complete sentence looks like. This line of code means inside the user roles collection, find me all those documents where documents user ID matches with request.user.id. This is what whole sentence means. So don't write 1 and 2 and it can be 1 and 2. Learn how to answer betterly. Like this means find me that document where subject is song and action is like. So these both two conditions have to match. Why these two keys exist? Give me that document. Similarly, tell me what does this mean? Which part did you not understood? I will like make you understand. Don't worry about it. Which part? Tell me which lines of code. What does this line of code mean? Come on, guys. At least the students who were here, any value from array value 1, value 2, sub action. Again, explain betterly. Explain betterly. 15th line. I will explain. First, let me see few answers from the chat, from the students. Come on, guys. Anyone? But what does it mean? I know it means either or one. As I said, complete sentence. This is similar to in SQL, but still I'm not able to find correct answers. No one is giving me correct answers. This is what it means, okay? See, I will tell you one thing. Communication skills is very important in tech. If you want to find a very good job, you have to make sure that you will phrase sentences very quickly and in a better way, right? So learn communication skills as soon as you can. Line number 14 simply means something like this. This is how I would have answered if someone would have asked me this. It means go inside role permission collection, find me all those documents where role ID is either 1 or 2. How simple was it? So I would not say role ID is either this. I will say simply in the role permission, find me all those documents where role ID is 1 or 2. Either 1 or 2. So you phrase a complete sentence. I hope that makes sense. So I hope, Roshan, this is also understood now. This means give me those documents of role permissions where role ID either is in 1 or is 2. It is either 1 or 2. That's it. But we are not looking for either 1 or 2. We are simply trying to understand role ID should be role IDs of the user who is logged in. So what will I do? I will simply say user roles dot map. From here, simply go there and extract role ID only like this, and then ask it to return role IDs only. So can we say at this point of time, in front of $in operator, this is nothing but an array of role IDs of the documents related to the user who is logged in. This is what I already made you understood this yesterday in the yesterday's session. So can we say that? Can we say that? Yes or no? Done? So on this particular note, if we understood this, give me a quick answer in the chat. Does it mean right now, since my user is 493F, I know it's Adfar, 493F, and there are 2 role IDs. This 8A2, 8A3. So it will simply take this ID first, put it in an array at 0 index, take this ID, put it at index 1, and define it as the second element, right? And then it will simply go to role permissions over there, and inside this role permissions, on this particular case, it will simply make a request where it will simply check, is there any element with the role ID 8A2? Take this document, put it in that array. Is there any element why role ID is 8A3? Yes, put this document. So can I say at this point of time, inside this particular variable called as role permission, all I have is both of these documents? Yes or no? Yes or no? Because I have both permissions, I have both roles. So can I say this is what I have right now in the role permission variable? Of course, yes. Now, if you look at this point of time, this particular code, you can see I have permission. I have permission of like this document. Then I have permissions of the user who is logged in. All I need to do is I need to use a mechanism where I will take this permission ID, match it one by one with the permission IDs of this variable. And if there's a match, it means you can like the song. If there's no match, you cannot like the song. So I will simply take this and implement a loop on my role permissions where I will map the permission dot underscore ID with the role permission dot underscore ID. And if there's any one match, it means I can like the song. Is that the logic I will simply use? If you have not understood, let me make you understand. This is what I have right now inside this variable called as role permission. These two. Then this is what I have inside the variable called as permission. What's its ID? 8A5. Take this 8A5. Perform a loop on this. Is there 8A5? Yes. So if it is true, it means you can like this song. If it would have been 8A9, is there a 8A9? No. Is there 8A9? No. So it means you cannot like the song. Simple as that. So I have to implement a loop on this particular array where I have to match. Is there even one single element that matches the condition? If even one single element that matches the condition, give me true, which means I can like the song. Call the next function. What is that array method in which I will implement a condition on an array? Even if one element matches the condition, return me true. At least one should match the condition. What is that method called? Come on, guys. What is that method called? Good morning, Adil. Good morning. What is that method called? Very good, Ankit. Sum. Find one is this method, array method. I have done a small syntax error. This is not here. This is inside the function, right? So it's like this, inside the function. So it's called sum. So sum method is inside my array. If you don't understand what sum method is, let me quickly try to revise you what sum method means. Okay, this is what sum method means. I will go and I will simply say where ARR is equals to an array 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there are two methods which we use to return boolean in arrays, sum and every. If I do ARR.sum, then of course I will receive an item from it, and where I will simply tell it return me item greater than 3, item greater than 3, and I will simply put it in a variable where a is equals to this one, ARR.sum. Always remember that sum will simply start a loop on it and simply start mapping this condition one by one. Is there any element, guys? Even is there at least one element that matches this condition? Is there one element that matches the condition? Is there one element that matches the condition? Of course, yes. We have 4, we have 5, we have 6, we have 7. It means A will have true in it. Sum means even at least one method or one element of an array matches the condition, make it true. If I do something like this, if A is greater than 13, is there any element who does not match? There's no element that matches the condition. So A will be false in this case. On the other hand, let me keep item is equals to 3. There's a method called as every of arrays. If I talk about every method, it means each and every element should match the condition. I know these all match the condition, but this does not match the condition. So it will be false. So if I do something like this, item is equals to each and every single item matches the condition, it means it will be true. So I hope you have understood sum as well as every method of our arrays, right? Similarly, I will simply go and I will simply tell it, do one thing. Implement a if condition. Inside the role permission, this particular variable, since it's an array, implement a sum method. Now, when we say sum method, what am I going to do, guys? What am I going to receive? I am going to receive item individually because it's a loop, which means on this particular array of objects, I am implementing a loop where this will be placed in the first loop in the item, in the second loop, this will be placed in the item. I will simply go then implement. Since you have received an item over there, please tell it to return those elements where my item dot permission ID is equals to my permission at the top over there. This permission at the top dot underscore ID. Now tell me quickly whether we understood this particular condition or not. Tell me if we understood this particular condition or not. Item dot permission ID. Item dot permission ID is nothing. If I go to database, it is simply 8A5. In the second loop, it will be 3F3. So in first loop, it will be this. In second loop, it will be this. Is this matching with the permission underscore ID? Of course, yes. That is why what I will do is I will simply go here in this case and I will tell it, if this condition is true, in that particular case, call my next function. Otherwise, simply go and give me a response.status. So response.status over it is equals to simply 401. And then in that particular case, simply give me a status. And why I wrote 401? Because now, even though there's a token, but with respect to this particular thing, you are not authorized. That's why I will simply go and send the JSON over here. And this JSON is going to be equals to message, you are not authorized, like this. I hope this makes sense. Does it make sense? Give me a quick confirmation in the chat. Although I am pretty much sure that this message will never be executed, because for all the users, this condition is absolutely true. Because by default, we are attaching role standard with it. So there's going to be role permission by default, if for every single user who is going to try to log in or not. Am I clear? Am I clear? Give me yes or no. Done? Perfectly fine. Very good. Moving a little bit forward. Now let's try to see whether we are able to execute our logic or not. And you can see, according to this, next will be there only under one condition, whenever I have the permission standard here. If I don't have permission standard here, in that case, I won't have it. So let's go now to the output. And have I called this middleware somewhere? Of course, I have called it here. So it means this next will be only called if that condition is true. So let's go here. And now token is there. If I perform a like, it says you are not authorized. Why is that? It means the condition is not true somewhere. It means I have passed somewhere a little bit. It's all about debugging now. Again, same issue which we faced yesterday. Although, see, this issue should not have been here. Tell me why. The reason is because we know by default standard is going to be there always. So let's try to see whether we have it or not. So let me simply go and try to console. So console.log. Come on. Console.log. Whatever my permission dot underscore id is. Although let's try to print entire permission. Let me try to say Control X and let me simply print it like this. In this particular case, I will make again a request. Let's send the request. It is done. You are not authorized. Let me go here. And what am I getting? I'm getting 8A5. So this is properly, it is giving me data. After that, I will simply go say console.log. And in this case, I will simply get role permissions. There's an issue with data creation. That's the only issue. Otherwise, our logic is absolutely solid. So let me go here. Let's try to send it. So if I send it, if I go now, so what do I have? I have like 8A5. No, this I'm not able to see anything. I am not able to see anything here. I'm only able to see the top one. No, it should be at the bottom. Sorry, my mistake. So it should be over here. So in this case, I have, yes, this is permission ID. So this is underscore ID. Am I using correct, logic here? So it's going to be item dot permission ID. Is spelling correct? Of course, yes. So item is going to be this item dot permission ID and then permission dot underscore ID. This is absolutely correct. Since it's not working here, so let me do one thing. Let me simply say console dot log. Give me what the item dot permission ID is. So let's try to make a request now. And if I make a request, it says this one. And let me drag a little bit down. What's it? It's 8A5. It's 3, which is absolutely correct. 8A5, 8A3. Absolutely correct over here. Then in that particular case, this should return me a true. So what I will do is I will simply go console C and let me simply say console.log and let me paste it like this. Let's see what it returns. So let's try to make a request again on this. I will go here and let's see if it is true. So it gives me false. So it gives me false over there. It's not giving me true over there, right? The reason might be that my double equal to might not be working because it's an object ID, and in another case, it is both are object IDs, but unfortunately, it's not working like this. So what am I going to do? If this does not work, let me try only one thing. Maybe it might work after that. Double equal, triple equal, I don't think that is the issue, okay? So it is going to be permission ID dot equals. If this, what was it? It was, okay, this one. If item dot permission ID dot if it is equals to, so we'll use equals method. Whenever we have to compare these now, sometimes double equal, triple equal might make a mess. So we will use equals to. If it is equals to the permission dot underscore ID. So let's see if it is true now. So let's hope that this condition becomes true. Permission ID dot equals. I'm using dot equals method. and let's go and let's try to send it. So if I send it, I'm not concerned about this. I'm concerned about whether it will return me true or false. So let me drag a little bit down, drag, perfect. It's true now. So that was the only issue. The issue was that I was in double equal and it was not able to compare these two values, right? Because it is database entity values. That's why we have to use database kind of way. So that's why what I will do is instead of having this particular condition like this, I will simply say Control X and let me simply go and say Control V. That is the issue. So I am really happy that we are facing these issues, because if everything works fine, then we are not learning. If there are issues and we are able to resolve them, then we are learning, right? So now if I go here and try to make a send request, it should simply execute it, and we got our next. So double equal, triple equal, whenever we use these now, they have to must have a value same. But in this case, these were database values, and database values are somehow different, right? So that's what we need to keep in mind. So we use dot equals methods of database, right? To check whether these two are same or not. I hope this makes complete sense. Am I clear, guys? Do we understand how we can find? And this is called role-based access control system, because now we are doing a authorization based on a role. Until now, we were not doing authorization based on a role, but now we are doing it. In a similar way, I will simply go here and let me simply say, what am I going to say? Let me copy the same thing and let me simply go and paste it. In this case, I will simply say download and let me remove this. Okay, and let me simply go and say stop download did like this. And if I go right now to my application, let me create another route. In this particular route, I will simply perform a download like this. And let me simply go at this point of time, get me the token, Control A, Control C. And if I simply go and Control A, Control V, this as well. So authorization token, in the header. So let me put an authorization header because that's what will give me user who is logged in. So let me try to send it. It says downloaded, although it says cannot get because it's post. So if I make a post request over there, now it says song download, which should not happen. Although for this user, it should happen because this user has premium role as well. So let's do one thing. Let's try to log in a new user. So I will simply go and use, let's say, doha@gmail.com and password. Let's keep it same. So if I send it, now it says user not found because I'm trying to perform a login. So let's say register. If I simply say register, user is registered. Is the register route not created? What is the route called? Route is called register. So what is the issue? So it gave me an error. What is the error? App crashed, cannot read. Is match. Why is it doing is match? Because I'm not using bicrypt.compare. So what is the issue? So let me try to start my server again. Let me retrigger my server because we are not doing a bicrypt.compare. So it should not give me this error. So it is register and I am performing API/R. This is my data. And we are making a post request. It's connected to this as well. Then if I send my request, it should work. Perfect. It works. It works. So basically, in the previous case, it performed a login. That's why it gave this error, but it's now working. So let me copy the same credentials and let's perform a login. So let me now go here, and for this, I will simply perform a login. And once I log in, it will compare this, and you can see by default, the role for Doha is true. The permission for Doha is true, right? Like, and we got a token. And if I take this token over there, and if I simply go and put it in the like, if I put it in the like, of course, it will simply give me song like it. And there is a proper middleware in between. So this is a valid operation. Song like it because there's a like permission. There is a role ID of like over there, right? And standard. But on the same time, if I take the same token of Doha and if I simply paste it here, it should not give me song downloaded because there is no upgrade for Doha. There's no premium role for Doha's account, right? So we need to make sure that this song downloaded should not work. So for that particular case, what are we supposed to do, guys? Can anyone tell me? In this particular case, I will simply go and put a middleware in between. And what is that middleware, guys? Called can user download song. So can user download. And I already have this authorized middleware in there, can user download. Now tell me what is it that I have to do in this particular case. Do you think there is any different logic which I'm supposed to perform than this? Or do you think same logic? Do you think same logic or different logic? What do you think? What do you think? Same or different logic? The answer is of course same. I have to implement the same logic. The only difference is, even let me copy the same thing, Control A, Control C, and let me simply go Control A, Control V. The only difference is over here the action will be download, right? So find me the download one, and then go there, find me its roles, find me its permissions, and see if the permission ID of download matches with any permission ID of the role, user role. And if it is called next, otherwise don't. Simple logic, you know? This is a simple logic that we have. The only thing we have to do is right now we have to compare it with the permission ID of download, not with the permission ID of like. I hope this makes complete sense. Am I clear? Does it make sense? I have simply copy pasted, but it's a very straightforward logic. So it's not a new logic that we are discussing. Shall I move forward? Shall I test it? So now if I go here and perform the same logic for Doha, you should see it says you are not authorized. You are not. Because now there's a middleware in between. And since there's a middleware in between and Doha's account does not have premium account with it, and it does not have permission ID of premium account and download, it will say you are not authorized. But what I will do is I will simply copy this token now and I will simply perform an upgrade. So let me simply go and perform an upgrade for this particular account because I have discussed upgrade. What does upgrade route do? Upgrade route simply makes sure that the role of a user, there's another role added, and that role is premium. It's not like change the standard to premium. No, keep standard there and add upgrade there. So now if I send it, it says role updated to premium. Now if I go here and perform a download, it should simply tell me song downloaded, and which it does. So now this is called role-based access control design. Based on the role, I am able to perform some actions. Based on the role, I'm able to receive some resources over there. I hope this makes sense. Am I clear, guys? Yes or no? Am I clear? Am I clear? Give me a quick confirmation in the chat. So with this, we have completed this small project which we started 2 days back. This is the third class of it. So which means we have spent 5 hours at least on this particular project called as RBAC, role-based access control. I would definitely request all of you to make sure that you will create a good application around it. In today itself, I will launch an assignment. Although I will give you 2 weeks of time. Reason of giving you 2 weeks of time is because from tomorrow there is another week of class going on, only 1 week. The other batch, the other instructor that I'm bringing on this platform, Variable Verse, he's going to teach you MERN, whatever you have learned until now, the same thing. But then that person is going to include some AI in it, some generative AI in it, tuning, RAG models, which is fantastic. Trust me, there's no content on it on the YouTube until right now. So please make sure that you join those 2 classes no matter what. Yes, there are some students who won't be able to join the class in the evening. I understand that. But later on, watch the recording. Watch the recording. He's one of the best instructors that I know. Okay, of India. Trust me. He's a young kid, but one of the best instructors, whose name is Ankit. So he's going to take classes from tomorrow 8 to 10 for 5 classes for week, only week. So generative AI clubbed with my MERN. You are going to maybe learn how to get chat GPT in your web applications, how to build chatbots, how to do fine tuning of data, huge set of data that you have. And there is future belongs to it. So please make sure you join it. Right? I myself have exams. So there won't be any advanced criteria, but definitely Doha and everyone, if you join that batch, you will receive a separate certificate for that. So until now, we have completed this MERN batch. So you will receive a certificate, separate internship certificate for that particular thing, on which there will be a new heading which is generative AI related. MERN with generative AI. So I would definitely suggest you to join it. Right? So only it should be 1.5 hours. I will ask him to not take 2 hours of classes. I think we can manage 1 hour. We can manage 2 hours in the evening for these 5 days. So I would definitely suggest you to manage it, and let's see how it goes. And I wish you best of luck, everyone. I hope that this entire journey has been fruitful to you. Like, I was not sure whether I will be able to complete this MERN batch or not, but fortunately, I am, and we have completed this. And trust me, I will tell you one thing honestly here, which is that when I start this journey, I thought maybe I will seeing the students. Of course, no one takes free things. Like, if free things are there, they take it for granted. almost all of you, right? But I'm still happy with the response that I have received. And it has been a great journey. We have started this journey in August, front end as well as back end. And please make sure, if you have not watched front end, watch front end, learn React, right? Learn React. And also, one another very important thing is work on your communication skills, work on your technical skills, and I will help you find a job. I will do that because that is my commitment. I will do that. I have a good network. I'm in this field for last 5 years, so I will try my best to help you in that particular case. Work as hard as you can, and I will share the attendance link. Yes, thank you so much for reminding me, because today's attendance link is most important. Where is it? Then I will continue. Allow me a second. I will push the rest of the code to the repo as well. Okay, I will share the repo in the WhatsApp group. So this is attendance form. So I'm sharing the attendance link, and today's attendance is one of the most mandatory attendances of this entire course. Okay, so please make sure you join it. Okay, now let me continue. I will take 4 or 5 minutes, not more than that. When I started backend Bashna, I had some other expectations. Like I'm not completely satisfied with this. Trust me, because there are few projects that I wanted to teach. E-commerce project, build a complete backend, which I will give, not today, but after a month, maybe once Ramzan is done. After that, I will start to take maybe 4 to 5 or 6 classes. And in those 6 classes, I will show you one of the best projects with which you can learn entire MERN. And I will do that no matter what. Okay. And we are going to close our MERN at this point of time, but later on, we will come back to it. We will learn MongoDB again with proper deep queries, with in depth over there, whatever the queries are, whatever the aggregators, lookups, extra some concepts. Okay. And we will also build a very good project. You will receive an assignment today itself that will be around the what is called role-based access control. So you have to build it. I will give you 2 weeks of time for that. So once 2 weeks of time is given to you, you must submit it, and all the students who submit it, they will be eligible for the internship certificate, and I will share it immediately. And then those students will be eligible for mock interviews as well. And in between, we will take one by one mock interviews as well, and I will try to start referring all those students. Okay, mock interview, as I said, mock interview will be there, of course. That's the plan. But only to those students who will submit the assignment. I have marked the assignments, not on Google Classroom, but I'm continuously checking who has submitted the assignment or not. So I am taking record of that. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. I hope this entire journey has been very helpful to all of you. I hope that I have somehow helped some of you with the MERN content, and I'm sure that I have given you that much quality, a good quality of content. I have a small request. Only if you want to do it, it's to students who are here and to students who will watch this later on. Since we have completed this journey, right? Now, some things might help me, which is go on your LinkedIn account, take a screenshot of this particular channel, and put it on LinkedIn and tell them what we have been doing from past some time. And we have completed this. And write a feedback. Whether it's positive, negative, I don't care. Be honest. So please go on the LinkedIn and do that. And that's the only fees that I can ask for. So you can find the assignment in the Google Classroom. And Google Classroom link you can find in the WhatsApp group description. So I request all of you you can take this screenshot right now because I'm on the screen entirely. You can take this screenshot and put it on LinkedIn and let people know what we have been doing. And we have completed the journey so that it will help you grow your, what is called, LinkedIn network as well, and it will help me as well. So that's the only fees that I need, nothing else. And thank you so much. Take care of yourself. I wish you best of luck. If you ever need any of my help, I will be there in the group. Although I will close that group, backend group, and I will shift to all of you, whoever is serious, to the one main group, which is variable verse. And this backend group will be closed. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. All the best. See you very soon. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Bye.